Hey guys, sometimes you have games that just go your way, sometimes you have games that just don't go your way. But the topic of this video really is about sportsmanship. So I've got second game I played today. First game I played, I got my ass kicked. Yeah, lost a rook in the corner to a bishop, just didn't see it. My opponent played 98%. It was the first game I played, just woken up, take it on the chin, right? And you know what I did? I resigned. Okay, this is the second game I played today. So, like the first one, I had the black pieces and we get the French defense, French advance. My opponent's rated over 1500, I'm rated at this point just under 1500, and this is all very normal with c3. Okay, knight comes out to c6, bishop to e3. Okay, so what's going on here is we've got a battle for d4 with pawn and queen and bishop defending and currently 1-2 attackers. Okay, all very normal. Now the queen comes in, attacker number 3 against that pawn. So 3 attackers, 3 defenders. When there are equal numbers of attackers and defenders, it does not make sense for the attacking side to initiate the exchange. There's nothing to be gained. Yes, we could exchange pawns, all right? But that's it. Then if I take with my knight, I lose my knight. Okay, so now I initiate the exchange anyway, because I've got my c pawn, and that's a d pawn, right? So I can take out the central pawn. Now he can recapture with his c pawn, okay? But then bishop to b4, and this is what I figure out. Okay, he can only block with his knight. So the bishop can't. If the bishop comes back, right, the bishop is blocking the queen's defense of this pawn. Okay, so if the bishop comes back here to block, I can grab the pawn for free, right? So, and the knight can't come here to block because then bishop takes, and we've got a fork on king and rook with check. So, and the queen can't block because I just take it, right? So the only reasonable move for my opponent is going to be knight to d2, right? If knight to d2, then again, the queen's defense of this pawn is blocked, okay? So I'll be able to take it. In the end, he plays bishop blocks. Doesn't matter. I capture now with the queen. I figured the queen is more forcing because I'm attacking this rook here. I'm also attacking this pawn here, okay? So now we have bishop takes bishop, okay, and I have options. I could simply capture the rook. Not that way. Not that way. Just simply capture the rook, he says, right? I could capture the bishop and that would come with check, all right? Or I could capture this pawn and that comes with check. But then can I capture the bishop? Okay, so what I decide is let's take the pawn first because my opponent has to respond to the check. It's a forcing move, puts him in check. So there's only really a couple of moves, knight blocks, bishop blocks, or queen blocks, okay? But either way, the rook is mine, and the bishop's still hanging. So queen blocks, I grab the rook, bishop moves, I grab the knight, and he took a while over that move, I think, as well. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Queen blocks, trade queens, happy days, and plus 7 points. Okay, my opponent is, as we say, in a world of chess-related pain, and he's already in I would say, a lost position. At the 1500 level, being 7 materials behind is loss. It should be lost, unless you completely bugger it up. So now d4, protected by my knight, just kick the bishop, and I'm going for space. Okay. Knight to f6, knight to f3, e5. So I'm starting to, you see there's no e pawn or d pawn on white side, so let's pile in. Bishop pins knight, break the pin. Bishop moves, castles, h3, come in with the knight. And now it just goes horribly wrong. Horribly wrong for white. He pushes a pawn, I come in with my knights. My knights love to be close to the king, they're short range fighters. Hassles my knight, And now, instead of just moving the knight, I counterattack the bishop. I figure this is a bishopy board. There's no deadlock pawns. There's lots of space, there's lots of lines about, so it's a bishopy board. If you want to take my knight, I will take your bishop with gratitude. Okay, bishop moves out the way, so that's a forcing move. Knight now comes back round, and my knights are just trying to close in on this king's position now. Bishop comes out to attack, reroute and counterattack the bishop and the pawn. Bishop defends the pawn. Okay, now a6, and I just shore up my defences here as well. Push, attack the bishop, push again, attack the knight. It's all going absolutely terrible. Now my bishop to c6, this is lining up with the king and the rook. So potential for evil ideas here. And now pawn up to here. Now I guess I could have simply captured the pawn here, because that would have come with check, with a discovered check. In the end, I captured on f2, threatening the rook. King captures, knight comes in with check. You know, it's just absolutely horrible, okay? And look, I've got 19 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. My opponent's still got 21 minutes on the clock, okay? He's in a lost position. Totally lost. And now I aim to double up my rooks, okay? And knight to here, sorry, king there, in line with my knight. So there are, I mean, I could have come here and then grabbed the bishop or whatever, but it's one of those games where you've almost got too many attacking ideas. And yeah, simply king goes there, I just fork king and rook. And now we have 17 minutes on the clock, and my opponent just decides to stall. And I mean, look, I'm sure that I have lost games in this position because my opponent simply stops playing with however many minutes on the clock and sits and waits it out, right? Then, you know, if you're there, you're on your phone, you're on your iPad, you're on your computer, you'll probably fire up social media, check your email, go off and do something else. And once or twice, I think I have come back to a game on the tablet app, on the mobile app of chess.com, and found that I've lost by abandonment simply because I flicked over to Facebook, right, for 2 or 3 minutes and then come back. And sometimes it just kicks you off and you lose by abandonment. I don't know if that's what this fella, Marlapas, is playing at, but I sent him messages, sent him a message saying, I mean, early on, you know, I sent him a message saying, you've got a mountain to climb now. I sent him a white flag emoji saying, seriously, I mean, you know, you can resign now with dignity. And it would have been with dignity. You know, we all screw up games, we all lose games, and have a bad start. It happens. My previous game, I completely got, you know, my opponent wiped the floor with me. But this guy decided to sit on his hands for 17 minutes. And it's not that he disconnected, because actually at one point I said, dude, seriously, you know, what are you doing? And then he disabled chat. So the guy was there, right? But you just don't do that. Just don't do it, right? So what I'm going to say today is I want everyone to go to I'd already reported him. After about 5 minutes of stalling, right, with 12 minutes to go, I reported him for stalling. I blocked him. I was almost going to send him a message saying, dude, I'm going to feature you on my YouTube channel today. But I decided not to do that because that would have just been like a little bit offensive. But you just don't do this. So, you know, look, it's a game, right? And sportsmanship matters when you're playing chess. Could he scrape the odd victory that he doesn't deserve with this stalling tactic? Possibly. But what do you gain by that? What do you gain by being a dick on chess.com? I mean, really. And the thing is, look, there's a few months ago, 6 months ago, there were 100,000 people a day joining chess.com each day, right? So the world is not going to miss Marlapas. I'm not going to miss Marlapas. So I've blocked the idiot. If I will put the link to his profile, if you want to avoid coming up against dicks like this who are just going to sit and stare you out. I mean, could you imagine somebody doing this in a classical game over the board? Right? You're in a contest. You've got him completely on the ropes, and he just sits there for 17 minutes while his clock goes tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and then loses on time from a losing. I mean, you would be ashamed to behave like that face to face. Right? Apart from the fact you probably get your ass kicked on the way out the hall, but everyone else would be around going, "Who is this dick doing this?" Right? You wouldn't do it face to face, so don't do it online, don't do it on chess.com. So I'm going to put the link to his profile. If you want to save yourself some grief, not coming against some, cheating dick. And it is cheating. I mean, it is cheating. Let's be honest, right? He's trying to either annoy me into abandoning, or bore me, or trick me into abandoning the game somehow. He has no right to win this game. You're just a dick. Chess.com doesn't need you. The world of chess doesn't need this kind of behaviour. So I'll put the link to him. Save yourself some trouble. Block this guy. Let's see how many times we can block him. If you block him, add a comment to say, "I blocked him for being a dick." And that's all I have to say about that. It's one of those games, it went completely my way. And that stuff happens, right? But let's just review, because it is actually an interesting start, from the French, which some people might think is a bit on the boring side, right? And this has been seen how many times before? Loads and loads of times before, okay? And now b3, and here comes the tactic, right? I capture, pawn captures, bishop to here, right? And I'd figured this out. I figured out that I could win that pawn, which is actually the c pawn, right? I figured out that I could win that pawn on move 7. Quite proud of myself, really, because I've played so many French games now, and I've never seen this tactic. I guess the b3 move was kind of opened the door to it because of this. That's definitely useful. But, good. I did well, right? I did well. Sometimes I suck. Sometimes I get my ass kicked. A lot of the time I deserve to get my ass kicked. And that's the way it goes. And sometimes, you get to kick someone else's ass, and that's absolutely fine as well, right? But if you've had your ass kicked, if your ass is red and throbbing and, painful, just walk away. Just start another bloody game. It is not worth losing your integrity and any honour, over a stupid game. So, Malapase, screw you. Not impressed. So go along, block this idiot, because if you come up against him, he may just annoy you into losing a game, and chess.com doesn't need it. The world of chess doesn't need it. Right? Let's all of it. It's everyone's responsibility to be a stand for sportsmanship and fair play. Okay? I'm hoping that if you follow my channel, then you share those values, and you have to worry about somebody who does this over something as trivial as a game of chess. What are you going to go off and do in the rest of your life? So the whole thing just kind of honestly stinks. So anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. I'm off to for a few business meetings now over the weekend, so I don't know if I'll be posting any videos, but hope you've enjoyed this. Go ahead and block Malapase. Link will be in the description below. And thank you for watching this rant. Hope it's put a smile on your face, and I shall see you soon.